halves.
Well, that's exactly what it was. It was a game of two halves in some ways, from a results point of view. To go 5-0 at the start was about as tough as it gets, and obviously then to go on this ride, the second part where we won 5 in a row was when sport is brilliant to be involved in. So I think the journey in some ways internally in the dressing room, which the supporter can't see, felt remarkably similar in how we went about it. We started off, we got a great mood in the camp early on, I think, and then we probably took our worst loss probably was the first one against Perth, which I think we walked away from that game, I think, frustrated because it felt like we didn't throw any punches. We were slow out of the blocks. They played like the Scorchers can do. They hit lengths early on, and we were a bit timid how we went about it with the bat, I think. And then we came away feeling like we hadn't really played the style of cricket we wanted to play. And then we had to adjust that pretty quickly because we had 3 games in 5 days against the Heat. And then we played well, actually. We got ourselves in a good position, certainly with the bat, and then fell short. And that then became the story for the next 3 games after that. We got in decent positions and couldn't take any of those winning moments. Adelaide, we'd have backed ourselves to chase that score, and we didn't. And that carried on. And then it took us till that game against the Heat when I think it was Marcus himself leading from the front with Dan Lawrence, putting out an unbelievable partnership, and we got over the line. And that released so much within the group, I think, then, to then trust themselves to play. In teams, there's moments when you end up with the honest chat. And that chat as a group came after the Thunder game, before the win, actually. So you'd have to say that was a significant moment of when, as a team, we sat down in the changing room after, and we had the heart-to-heart, everything out in the open, and lots of things were said, all honest and positive, in that they were said, not that they were all complimentary, but they were said in a way that was to move the team forward. And they were taken in the right spirit by everybody. So we walked away from that, I think, feeling like we were really clear anyway, but we'd said it out aloud that we have to get better. We were creating chances, we weren't taking them. We had to take the responsibility as a group that just wasn't good enough, and we had to do more. And then the next game came, and as I say, it felt quite fitting because the innings that anybody goes back to that game, we were in trouble, I think, at 30 odd for 3, and it was a bit of a story season. We got nothing from the top of the order, which was frustrating for everybody. And Dan Lawrence and Marcus came together, and it was tight, and there was pressure, there was a little bit in the pitch, and I think Marcus took it on himself to play aggressively, played really aggressive. And Dan sort of played the sort of glue role where he knocked it around, and then we got over the line and they put on over 100, and it was the first, what I would say, it was where 2 players had got a significant partnership with the bat. They hadn't just done part of the job, they did the whole job. They took us home, and then we sat in the dressing room and we had a beer, and you could feel the relief in everybody, and we sang a song, we had some fun, and we moved on. And we took the energy in, but the energy had moved a little bit. There's an energy when you start to win something. And it was a really funny feeling when we won, in that people didn't go euphoric about it and think, there was a feeling all the way through it, I think, that we can win again. And we weren't out of it, statistically we weren't out of it. I think there's an email that comes round, that's sent around, that gives you the win predictor or the chance of qualifying. I think it started off, the first one I read, it was 1.8% or something like that. I'm thinking, all right, okay. Didn't really need that email. And then week by week, as we won one, another one, it crept up to 6%, 7%, 10%, 20%, whatever. But yeah, that was the story of it, really. And then different people stepped up at different times. Maxi had, as I think people who watched it, had an unbelievable second half of the season. He was always good, but now he played on a level that you rarely see from anybody. And we qualified in what became a great sort of 3 weeks, really. Yeah, I give Marcus a huge amount of credit. I think. What he did, it was great to work with because he's open, and we discussed everything and shared our views openly on what he thought, and Marcus would get the view from the players. I would as well to a degree, but I'd be getting the views of the coaches. We came together, we shared them, we had to make decisions. And no one says you're always going to get the decisions right, but you hope to get more right than wrong. What I think Marcus showed, and he's always had that, but I think I always see he's a bit misunderstood in some ways because he's a deep carer about other people, actually. I think that came out in his captaincy. I think he really put his heart and soul on the line, which was great. So we had the reaction when he got the 2-wicket over against, I can't remember who it was against the Sixers, I think, at the MCG. And the reaction to the second wicket, which Maxi caught by both of our senior players, of the passion they showed and the importance of that wicket was brilliant. Because actually it showed it to the fans. It really matters. You know, we want to put it on the line, we want to go for it, we want to play a style of cricket that people want to watch. And in many ways, that to me was it felt like one of the real successes, that people started to feel what we feel. Last year I came and we connected partly to the fans, but it didn't feel like we really started to get that connection. This year, the way the supporters were at the MCG, I loved it. They were brilliant because they got involved, they made noise, they went with us, and the players responded with it. And it's a goal, I think. I hope that next season is the same, that the more and more that the supporters feel like we're going to put 11 blokes out they'll go and die for it on the day. They'll put it on the line. Because that's what I would ask of any team. You can't guarantee you'll play well, but a supporter and everybody involved with the Stars who does all the work around it, from the office staff, the only people that represent them in the public eye are the players. So when they go on the field, they're the 11 people who hold what we represent and what we do it for. So when they go about it in that way, like they did this year, that's great to see. And people make mistakes. You know, we come back to the game we got knocked out. We made plenty of mistakes in the field in that game, but we have actually fielded pretty well. So generally, that's what I'm hoping that we continue to do. I think Marcus has led that. I think he was open with the lads in the dressing room, behind the scenes. I think on the field, he speaks well in front of the group because he's clear. He knows exactly what he wants, and I think he's prepared to do that first. And that part of that, playing any sport, is about fronting up when it really counts. So I think we played the Sixers maybe, and we got to the 10 over mark. It was tight. We were defending the score. I remember coming in and Marcus saying to the group, listen, you know, we're going to win this. We're going to win in front of our own fans, and it's going to define us as a group how we play our cricket. Really clear, and we're sticking it on the line. And then stay calm, deliver your skills, do the stuff, and everybody then went off and did the stuff. At the MCG, we beat the Hurricanes. And the group get together, and it's nearly like Marcus is shepherding them all in, and they all walked off as a group together. So it was nearly like everybody was there, we've all put in this, and they walked off, and all the players that hadn't played and the dugout is all waiting to sort of receive them to become together. It was great. Because it felt, and then we all went down quickly to the bottom before we signed the autographs, where you have that moment and everybody can be involved in it. You'd like every fan to experience as well, but hopefully they're feeling that. I hope they're feeling that in the stands, because that's what we want to build on. We've got to play more consistently. You're not always going to have it where you come back from what happened at the start of the season, so we've got to start better. There's no doubt about that. So we've got plenty to work on, but it feels like we've got something to build on. I think over the last 2 years, we went on a hot streak last year for 4 games away from home, mainly away from home. This year we've won 3 out of 4 at the MCG, which feels really significant because until you win your home games, it feels like it's going to be hard to qualify. So that, I think, is really important for us. The key now is putting the 2 seasons together, win on the road and win at home. Yeah, I think the one thing you want everybody to understand is that actually signing players, it's not straightforward actually, because you can only sign somebody who wants to move. So we'd be active in that market. there's areas we need to develop, either internally through our own system or bring somebody in. So we targeted 2 or 3 areas that we'd like to strengthen. Those conversations ongoing. We've already had probably 2 or 3 players knock us back, and a couple of players ongoing, and that'll be the same for all the different teams. And that sort of cajoling this sort of like transition of it the next 10 days is really important. You know, identifying the player you want to bring in, the reason why you bring him in, so it's a clear role for him to do it, and then trying to make sure you get it over the line. So it's been ongoing for a while. It's that back half of the tournament, it sort of always sits a bit in the background, and now for the next part, it really comes in earnest over the next 10 days. Yeah, getting the group together, because I think we'll end up with the core of that group together. I think Tom coming back would be great. So for Tom Curran coming back, I think he'd be quite frustrated by the end of it this year, because he picked up the calf injury, which he's not had many injuries, so that was quite frustrating. He started off like a train in the Perth game, then had a couple of tough games, and I think was just starting to find his feet, and then picked up the injury. Great, we got him back towards the end, but that would be frustrating. I don't think the Stars fans have quite seen the best of Tom yet, but I'm sure they will. So I'm looking forward to getting that group together. I'm looking forward to watching the evolution of the team. I think there's progression within some of the players that aren't the senior men they'd be frustrated with some of their season this year. I think there's a chance for them to go away and work at that and come back with more next year. Hopefully we can get Maxi continually playing like he played that back half this year, because you know that was some of the best batting you'll ever see in T20 cricket, because it was clinical. I think Maxi, when he's playing really, really top of his game, it's surgical. The way he does it, it's brilliant to watch. Very expressive, but like a lot of genius and brilliance, the creativity is built around something, so it repeats. And he did that this year, which was brilliant to watch when we really needed it. I also think the captain's contribution I think he was 5th leading run scorer in the BBL, which said about his consistency. And I think he'd be frustrated actually on a few occasions when he got 30 odd and he looked like he was going to go on, but he's playing as good a cricket he's played. And then seeing, I think, Mark Steckety and Joel Paris and people like that step up, that we've been desperate to get wickets early. So we ended up changing the team around a little bit halfway through. That worked for us. We got early wickets, which made a big difference for us winning games. I think that ability to have sides sort of 4, maybe 5 down coming into the back part of the game, so that the actual end of the innings wasn't as destructive, because some of the best players were already out, had a huge impact on us defending some of those games. We lost 3 tosses in a row, which felt like very big tosses to lose actually. Yet each time we lost and we ended up defending the score, we managed to get over the line. So that was credit to the bowling unit. Usama, the overseas lads, credit to them all, they did well. Usama, Ben Duckett, I think, did brilliantly when he came over. So plenty to look forward from a playing point of view. Maisie, as you know, we're pretty tight as a staff. We have our wanderings off to find different places around Australia to have a beer and a chicken palmy. So whichever way we do it, it's great fun to look forward to.